Hi there, this is James from James Shipway Guitar and TotalGuitarLab.com, and in this video I'm going to show you 5 of the most common mistakes that beginner and intermediate guitar players make when it comes to lead guitar technique. I'll tell you what they are, how to spot them and how to avoid them, and don't worry if you think you're making some of these mistakes, because I'm also going to show you how you can fix them up and stop them from holding you back. Make sure to watch the whole of this lesson, because the mistakes I talk about at the end of the video are the most common and they can really kill your playing. Okay, let's jump into the lesson now. Let's talk about the fretting hand. Now the first thing to check for is that you're not pressing down the strings too hard, because if you're crushing those strings, this can really hold you up. It makes it very hard to move smoothly and lightly to the next note you want to play. If you press super hard, you can also pull or push your notes badly out of tune. And that's not going to help you get a good sound from your guitar. Now you need to pin the notes firmly, but don't overdo it, so just look out for that common mistake. Another fret hand mistake you want to avoid is lifting your fingers up after you play a note, like this. You see my first finger is coming away. This is especially common after people hammer on a note, like this. Let's think about it. If your fingers are all the way up here, then you have to bring them all the way back down again to play your next note. So as a general rule, try and keep your fingers as close to the strings at all times as you can. Here's a really common mistake that many players don't even know they're making. Picking with too much of the pick. Now you just want to use the very tip of the pick. Many players do this kind of thing. Look how much pick is sticking out the side there. Now too much pick sticking out is way harder to control. You'll find it harder to pick notes accurately, to hit the right string, and you might even find that your pick gets snagged in between the strings really easily. It just makes your picking really clumsy and it's kind of hard to play anything smoothly. It can also bring your picking hand way out from the guitar here, which causes all sorts of problems like bad muting and bending. Plus, it's way harder for most people to pick well with their hand all the way out here than it is if it's nice and close to the strings here. So make sure you're using just the very tip of the pick. It almost wants to be like an extra fingernail just sticking out the side of your thumb there. This is a quick and easy fix which will bring your picking hand closer into the guitar, making everything much more controlled and much easier to play. So check for yourself for this and correct it if necessary, and I'm sure you'll notice a difference straight away. This is the part of the video where I ask you to subscribe to my channel for more lessons, licks, solos and tips to help you become the guitar player that you want to be. Hit the subscribe button below so that you don't miss out, and we'll get straight back on with the lesson. Okay, let's talk pull-offs for a moment. Now in my lessons I often hear people play pull-offs that sound like this. So there's either hardly any sound when they do the pull-off, or they're pulling the note badly out of tune. If you're getting weak sounding pull-offs, here's what you want to check. Now as you pull your finger off, you don't just want to lift it up, you actually want to flick it slightly downwards. So it catches the string, then you flick it off the side of the string, and that sounds the note down here, which you're holding with your first finger in this case. So flick your finger off the side of the string, and that will give you a nice strong sounding pull-off. Pulling the note out of tune as we pull off to it like this is caused by lack of finger independence. In other words, as this finger flicks off down here, this finger wants to go with it, and this just pulls the string down towards the floor, making it go out of tune. Now this one can take a little while to correct, but here's one tip that I've found really works well. As you pull off, think about pushing up slightly with the finger that you're pulling off to. It probably won't actually move the string. We don't really want it to push the string up towards the ceiling, but it somehow seems to combat the tendency for the finger to go down towards the floor and pull the string out of tune. So as you do the pull off, just think about pushing upwards with this first finger, and sometimes that can fix the problem up. So just take a basic pull off exercise, something like this. You can do this on any string and at any fret. And as you play the exercise, just check your pull-offs and see if you think you could improve them a little by applying any of these techniques. We use pull-offs a lot, so fixing up sloppy, lazy or noisy pull-offs will make a big difference to the overall sound of your playing. One of the most important techniques to get right is string bending, because it's just such a powerful sound on the guitar, and bad bending can really kill your playing stone dead, so it's important that we get this right. One of the most common bending mistakes that I see in my lessons is people not cutting off the bends. So someone bends the note up, but when they're finished playing it, they're getting this kind of tailing off sound as they get ready to go to the next note. Unfortunately, this sounds kind of amateur, but the good news is it's not that hard to fix and can make a huge difference to the sound of your playing. What you need to do is cut off the bend at the top before you let it down. This gives the bend a tidy finish rather than this kind of unfinished sound. Now there are two parts to this technique. The first one is to gently let your picking hand fall down onto the string to mute it before you let the bend back down. Notice it's a very small movement, not a great big movement, and this is another good reason to keep your picking hand close to the strings like we talked about earlier. The second thing is, as you kill off the bend with your picking hand, gently release the pressure on the string with your fretting fingers and let the string just fall back down. Don't lift your fingers off completely or you'll get noise. Just relax them and let the string return to its normal position. If you want to hear the bend being let down, then obviously we don't kill it off using this technique. Instead, don't mute it with your right hand. Keep the pressure on the string as you return it to its normal position. So grab any bend that you like playing and practice applying these techniques. If you haven't been using them already, then you're really going to notice just how much it tidies everything up. Whenever you're playing any licks using some bends, check that you're doing these. This way they'll quickly become a habit and you'll start to use them automatically when you play. And you'll probably be surprised just what a difference better bending can make to the overall sound of your licks and solos. Okay, this one is a biggie. Poor muting technique results in unwanted string noise from unused strings, unclear, fuzzy notes, and a whole load of other problems which we really don't want. And improving your muting technique is one of the absolute best things that you can do for your playing. It literally can make everything you play sound 10 times better. So if your playing ever sounds like this, then you've got a problem with your muting technique. Let's have a look at what we can do to improve things. One aspect of muting is using the picking hand. And to put it very simply, part of your picking hand wants to rest lightly on the strings that you aren't playing. Now it's very soft touch, don't press down and keep it very relaxed. And I use this fleshy part of my hand here, just rests on these strings and keeps them quiet as I move across the strings. As the pick moves across the strings, the muting technique kind of shadows it. You can see it sort of following along behind the pick, keeping the other strings from ringing out. See, they're muted by my picking hand. Now it takes a little bit of practice to get this for sure, so don't worry if you find yourself overdoing it a little bit and muting notes to start with which you don't actually want to mute. I think this is a good thing. You can fine tune it later, and it's much better to be overdoing it than not doing it enough or not doing it at all. So that's the picking hand, and a lot of people know about that way of muting, but the fretting hand also has an important role to play. So let's have a look at that now. When you're playing licks, riffs, or solos on electric guitar, your fingers want to be slightly flatter than they probably would be if you were down here, say playing a C chord where they would be on their tips. This is because they will actually touch the next door strings and help keep them quiet. Now if I was playing this note here, say the G string at the 5th fret, you can see that the tip of my first finger is also muting the D string above it, and because it's slightly flat, it's lying down on the G and B strings and keeping them quiet as well. If I was playing the 7th fret with my 3rd finger, say, the same thing's happening. You see my 3rd finger is just stubbing up against the D string to keep it quiet. My other fingers are slightly flat, keeping these strings quiet either side of it. Okay, so there's a few technical details to get right here for sure, and it doesn't happen overnight, but I really don't think we have a choice in this. If we want our playing to sound good, then we have to develop a good muting technique. Someone with poor muting is never going to sound any good, their playing is always going to sound noisy and sloppy. Unwanted noise can spoil every single thing you play, so it's really important that you take these ideas and try them out and get used to doing them. It doesn't have to sound perfect straight away, but do start working on your muting today if you're not already doing it. This is essential if you want to sound like a polished and competent guitarist. So there you go, there are 5 mistakes to avoid and what to do about them. Now don't worry if you've noticed that you're making some of these. The really important thing is just to start fixing them up as soon as possible, like right now. And you'll be surprised how quickly you start to hear a difference once you start correcting a few of these. For powerful strategies to help you improve your playing faster than ever before, join my free online community. You'll get access to exclusive courses like Improvisation Bootcamp and Chop Builder, plus my members only sessions. I'd love to welcome you into the free members area and show you what's there. So if you want to join up, click on the link under this video and sign up on the next page. So good luck with these tips. I really hope they help you get some of those annoying problems which we all face when we start learning how to play lead guitar. So dig in, have fun, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.